Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him tell all they wanna say. Let him lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him tell all they wanna say. Let him lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let I be me instead of playing games. For chasing fame, let somebody spread the lack of flames. No, living my life to the fullest and shout out my halala to the fullest. Let my lungs out. I'm still rising up to greater heights as long as
Hello, bonjour and bonani. Welcome to Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. It is so significant to have a positive mindset, more especially under these circumstances. So this network has the potential to completely revolutionize every aspect of your life and career. My name is Riel Gunene, and I'm going to be your host for today. So if you're watching us online, please feel free to put in a chat box where you're watching us from and what you hope to achieve from our podcast. So today we are surrounded by greatness in the World Wide Web. We have amazing speakers who's going to share some nuggets on how to increase your emotional intelligence, how to increase your emotional intelligence. So in Colorado, we have Jennifer Sandowski. And in Wisconsin, we have Dr. Chakora Palmer. And in New York, we're going to be joined by Dr. Seema Karat. So at this moment, I'll just let our speakers to introduce themselves. So you can go ahead, Jennifer, and introduce yourself. You are muted.
Okay, is that better?
Very.
Okay, very good. Hi, my name is Jennifer Sandowski, and I live just outside of Denver, Colorado, and I'm originally from New York, New Jersey. I'm a mental health advocate, and I'm a published author, and I am also a public speaker, and so I'm very happy to be a part of this meeting today.
Oh, wow, it's so good to have you, Jennifer, and I can't wait to hear you speak. So you can go ahead, Dr. Chakora Palmer, and introduce yourself, please.
Hello and good morning. I am Dr. Chakora Palmer, the owner and CEO of Total Power Financial Services. I am also a motivational speaker, a humanitarian, the list goes on and on. I am very, very glad and excited to be here today on this fabulous panel to speak about emotional intelligence. Thank you for the invite.
Thank you so much, Dr. Palmer. I am really, really honored that you've said yes and to be with us here. Thank you. So we're gonna go to Dr. Seema. Dr. Seema Karat, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me. I am Ambassador Dr. Seema Karatnaya. Thank you so much for shortening my last name. I actually like that much more. I am the world's global peace and health ambassador representing the United States. I am also a member of the expert committee at the World Health Organization and multi-cultural public health panelist at national, international panels, societies, committees, and organizations. And I am also a global peace and woman empowerment advocate around the world. Thank you so very much. And I look forward to sharing my insight today.
Oh, wow. It's such a great honor to have you. I can see that you are a lady of many, many hats. It's so good to have you, Dr. Karat. So at this moment, we're gonna go to Colorado. I have a question for Jennifer. Jennifer, I have a question for you.
Okay.
If you happen to have your own billboard, I can see your billboard coming down there in the busy highway in Colorado. What will your billboard say?
What would my billboard say?
Yeah.
I think my billboard would say that it's time for change.
It's time for change. Wow, I love that. I
Yeah,
love
it's time for, it would be something to do with the transformation.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's what it would say.
I love it. It's time to change. Like really, the change that you want to see in this world must first begin with all of us here. That's the change that we want. I love it. I
And
love
we're
it.
all here to transform, and so and there's things that occur that I think that sometimes we need to be able to go inward. We're talking about emotional intelligence.
Mhm.
And so we're all in the process, and each one of us have the opportunity to grow, to transform, and to change. And also when we see things that are happening that may not be the right way or the right thing to do, well, we need to be able to change. And so that's something that I think I would put in big letters on a billboard.
Time to change. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. How about you, Dr. Palmer? I had time saying your city or province, or Wisconsin, right?
Yes, in
Yeah. What will you
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin? Okay, okay. I'll get there. I'll get there. Since I started my podcast, many Americans, I'm like, oh, what is the name of the city again? What is the name of the state? Like I'm clueless about the names, saying the names. The hardest one was Massachusetts. I was like, what? Massachusetts. But anyways,
But you nailed it now.
I know. What will your billboard say, Dr. Palmer? Maybe your billboard is already there. I don't know. What will it say?
Power up in your own lane. Positioning our wealth for economic redevelopment, and that wealth also not only being about money, though I have a financial service,
Mhm.
we need to power up in our own lane as it relates to not just our finances, but our mental health, as well as strengthening relationships. So power up in your own lane.
Power up in your own lane. I love it. I love it. You're all about power anyways. So
Yes.
definitely we'll have to power up our own lane and stay in our own lane, run our own race. Really, I love it. I love it. Oh, how about you, Dr. Karatnaya? Let me say it in full, Karatnaya. What will your billboard say? Maybe it's already there in New York. I don't know. What will it say?
Thank you. I wish, seriously, it would say universal acceptance and inclusivity are the planting seeds for harmony. That's what it would say. Because right now, we totally understand that a billboard might be geared towards the person that is portrayed in the billboard, but I have always been non-selfish and very inclusive in terms of other people into my circle and other circles, which is why I want that to represent me on the billboard. That's why and also in relationship to what's going on in the world today, unfortunately, how the global peace is at stake. I think that now more than ever, universal acceptance and inclusivity are the planting seeds of harmony is the great phrase that should be used on a billboard.
Oh, wow. I love that. I love that. Universally accepted. I love it. I love it so much because it's all about human rights. What I'm seeing on your billboard, it's all about human rights, the God-given fundamental rights and freedoms. So universally accepted, the way we are, the way we were born, because we all have a right to life. We were born free. I love it, Dr. Sima. So thank you. Thank you. So I believe my billboard can be the fourth one, driving down the highway, and it's going to say rise to greater heights, because you know what? The sky is no longer the limit. The sky is our point of view. So we all have to rise to greater heights, and it's coming. It's coming. So we cannot get started. I can see our audience. I can see our audience on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, I lost the live chat. I can see you, Nkosina Mandla Shabangu. I can see you, Adriana, and I can see you, Mariah. I can see you, Stella. I can see you, Princess. Thank you so much for joining us today at Rise to Greater Heights Network. And remember to share this video, because you will be saving one soul. They'll have to increase their emotional intelligence. So they just want to hear this. Remember to share to your networks, like, comment, share, post your questions if you have any towards our amazing speakers. We're going to attend to all of your questions. So now we're going to get started. We're going to get started with Jennifer. Jennifer Sandowski is the business owner and consultant of Divine Intervention Mental Wellness LLC. She is the published author of the book, The Secret Chamber of Forgiveness, a public speaker on various platforms, and is a passionate advocate for mental health reform, human rights for those afflicted with a mental health diagnosis. She was a recent guest speaker on the podcast Hope Out of the Darkness, which addresses an integrative approach to mental, emotional wellness. Jennifer Sandowski has a deep sense of empathy, compassion, and wisdom as she draws from a lifetime of harsh trials from childhood that she experienced, having family members diagnosed with oh my God, I forgot the word.
Well,
Schizophrenia?
yes.
Okay,
You go.
schizophrenia. I got it. She witnessed her best friend. She witnessed her best friend get killed in a car accident while she walked beside her. I'm so sorry for your loss. And then
Thank you.
shortly following her beloved grandfather who was murdered.
He was murdered.
Yeah, and Jennifer was also kicked out of high school and sent to a school for emotionally disturbed kids. Jennifer prevailed, obtaining a bachelor's in psychology degree, followed by an extensive career in pharmaceutical sales, selling antidepressants and antipsychotic drugs. She was on a quest to find answers, but it wasn't until Jennifer began having supernatural experiences that she awoke to a new level of understanding that God existed, and this changed her life profoundly. Through deep empathy, Jennifer provides an inspirational and faith-based approach to transformation and mental, emotional, spiritual healing. It's the heart of the matter, a return to love. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Jennifer Sandowski.
Hi, thank you so much. Thank you for that introduction. And yeah, I mean, I think that as a mental health advocate and somebody who was also very much into as a human activist, a human rights activist as well, my background, as explained, has been extremely, I guess you could say, it's been filled with many, many trials. And through those trials, I had developed a deep sense of compassion and empathy. And so I wanted to discuss that as well today. There is a difference between the two. So we're going to get into compassion and empathy. Another thing that I think is very important when we're talking about emotions is being able to identify the appropriate emotion. And a lot of times people get that confused, and there can be consequences based on that confusion. So I will get into that in a few minutes as well. And then at some point, I'd like to get into my book, The Secret Chamber of Forgiveness, and why forgiveness is a key element in letting go of resentments, victimizations, and things that occur along the way. Just being a part of this life, we're going to have a lot of different things that are going to happen. And a lot of times people are walking around feeling very unworthy or unlovable. And so we need to address that. And then I would like to get into the spiritual matter of things as well, because there is, everything is spiritual. And so being that I am a mental health advocate and somebody who has a strong faith, so that's going to be pretty much the outline for today. So basically, I'm going to go into identifying an emotion, because a lot of times what we'll find, especially in the mental health industry, is that people are being given a lot of these psychotropic drugs in order to help control what they call mental health. Now, I would like to talk about mental health as emotional health. A lot of times we're brought to the thought processes of everything, but we have to go a step deeper and into the heart of the matter. And that's where emotions occur. And, so if we go into faith-based here, as we were created in the image of God, which is we were created in the image of love, okay, pure, perfect love. But since we are living and existing in a fallen world, and we have a lot of things that go on, whether it could be coming from an evil sense, or negative, or darkness. So abuse, rejection, lies, manipulations. These are things that everybody goes through these things to some degree or some level or another. And so what happens is we become detached, or we lack that feeling of love that we're all craving so desperately. Everybody wants to feel accepted and loved. And this is deeper. This isn't just a mental capacity. Now, our thoughts are important, and the way we navigate through our thoughts are important, but we can't just stop there. We have to go deeper into the heart of the matter. We have to be able to feel that we are understood, that we have people around us that are compassionate and empathic. So the difference is an empath, which is the common phrase these days. You have the narcissist and the empath, right? So if you have somebody who's empathic, they're able to feel a person's emotions. So they can feel when somebody's anxious, or they can feel when somebody is feeling sad. There's a lot of things that an empath can pick up on when they're, in front of other people. And so now, compassion is the ability, whether you're going from a place of feeling or whether you're going to a place of thoughts. Compassion is the ability to connect to another individual who is going through any sort of struggle, whatever the struggle may be. And I think that a commonality, so something that is, excuse me, that's very important, is the ability to relate to one another. And I'm going to use this, as an example. And so bear with me, okay? So I'm going to say that, let's say we have cat people and dog people. If you're a cat, you're going to, you like a little bit of affection. You walk by, you get pet a little bit, and then you're going to go on your way, okay? So it's really on the cat's terms. Well, there are cat people that really don't want a ton of affection, and, the way they process emotional help would be very different from a dog person who wants a lot of affection, a lot of recognition. They want to be heard. They want hugs and kisses, and these are the dog people. So if you have a cat person trying to help a dog, okay, a lot of times there might be a disconnect there, okay, but there are commonalities and there are ways to relate to one another, even if you are different. So one way would be, say, here's an example. If you have somebody who, say, is depressed, okay, and well, I'm getting off the cat and dog thing for a second, just bear with me. So if you have somebody who's depressed and they're going in to get some help from somebody, and both people, let's just say one person had a very traumatic life. I mean, from childhood all the way through, and they have a lot of reasons to feel the way that they feel inside, okay? Now, if you have another person who was raised in, say, a really healthy home with a lot of, encouragement and inspiration and a lot of love and affection, and you have these two worlds that both grow up, and they become adults, they're going to navigate through life very differently because of their experiences. How can these two people relate to one another? If they're very opposite and they've had such opposite experiences, how do they relate? Well, they may not be able to relate on the level that one may need, but that person who was raised in a very healthy home could very well wind up having a job loss, somebody manipulate them. They could have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a husband or a wife do something to betray them. And so suddenly they're now in that emotion of feeling very depressed and they're crying. And so this is the way we're able to relate to somebody else who may have had it all their life, right? The victimizations, and this person is living in a victim role, rightfully so. They've been victimized. So now how do we elevate above that type of victimization? And what tools do we have to be able to do that? Well, I want to first, as you know, I want to go back a little bit, and I want to go back to identifying the emotion. So what happens is a lot of times people will have an emotion, say they're frustrated, work is going, bad. They have an uncompromising boss that is, constantly putting too much pressure on them. Their kids are acting up. They have no support. And they're just so frustrated. Things just keep falling apart in their life. And they're so frustrated that they begin to cry. So now they're crying. And then on top of that, you say have, I don't know, where they get, something happens where they become very angry. So what do? They begin to cry. And the reason why is because many times in our society, it is shunned upon to express certain emotions, one of them being anger. And, if you scream and yell and throw things and forget, you're going to be dragged off to an institution and put on all sorts of psychotropic drugs because you're expressing very overt emotions that are not in alignment with societal normality. And this is not okay, because we are living in an existence. If we had that spiritual, created in the image, pure love that we were existing in, we wouldn't have the need to have to go and have these other emotions. But because we're living in a fallen state, because we have all of these instances of continuous disconnect from that fallen state, well, we have these emotions. And if we're continuously expressing the emotion with crying and depression, what happens is that now you're going to go to a doctor and you're going to be diagnosed with depression. And meanwhile, the diagnosis really might have just been you're extremely frustrated. You're very angry because you have these resentments that are deep down inside of you from all the things you've experienced, but a doctor's not going to get to know you on that level. A therapist may, a spiritual counselor may, God certainly will know you on that level. So this is why identifying what you're feeling is important, because you don't want to be misdiagnosed. It's a very serious thing. Your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, and your physical health. It's a very powerful, and it's something to be protected and adhered to properly, because a misdiagnosis could lead you down a path that you just don't want to go on. So identifying your emotions, saying, what is it that I'm feeling? Why am I crying so much? Is it that I'm not being heard? Am my needs not being met? Most likely, that's a good reason. Something happens, an event happens, a loss happens, a hardship happens, and then the people around you may not know how to have that empathy or that compassion in the way that you need it. They may be connecting to you. You're the dog and they're the cat, and you're disconnected. So now you feel completely like lost. And before you know it, you're in this whirlwind, spinning out of control, and then things pile on top of that. So we need to unpack that. So one of the things you start by doing, keep a little journal and start writing down what your feeling is. I am feeling frustrated because this, and this is happening. Okay. And then if you have a true sadness, somebody you love passed away, and especially in the times that we're living in, these things are happening, and we're going to feel certain feelings and emotions. It's okay to cry, and it's okay to process your emotions. See, when you suppress them, when you suppress emotions and you keep them buried deep down inside, and you still navigate through life, and you're suppressing anger, and you're suppressing frustration, you're a ticking time bomb, really. And this is, so it's the opposite of depression is expression. Express yourselves, express your emotions. And we need change on my billboard to allow for these things. We need to be able to allow people to feel what they're experiencing. And so now I'd like to go into, so I have a mental health life report. I created this for myself because I have been through the mental health journey all of my life, from the time I'm a child till today. And there's a lot that I've learned along the way. And so part of this mental health life report goes into the whole emotional element. And it also, so basically, let me just break it down this way, okay? So it has inner facilitators, which is our thoughts, our words, our belief systems, and our emotions. So this is everything that's inside of us that comes out. And then the outer facilitators are all the coping mechanisms, all the things outside of us that we can utilize to help us in our mental health and emotional health and spiritual health and even physical health, okay? So nutrition, exercise, prayer, meditation, uplifting music, these are all the things that are outside of ourselves that we could utilize to help impact the inside. Okay, so it's an integrative approach, really. It's the inside and the outside, so the words that we choose to use, the thoughts that we think, the emotions that we feel. This is what emotional intelligence is all about. You cannot have emotional intelligence when you're disconnected, period. You have to be able to connect, to give that compassion to one another, and to be able to try, something that comes to me is it's a common thread, just because we're different, cats, dogs, horses, elephants, giraffes, I don't care. Just because we're different, there are certain things or questions that we can ask somebody, and it's neutral. It's across the board. Okay. So for instance, how can I serve you? I understand that you're feeling a certain way, and what you've just experienced is very difficult. And I want to be there to support you in the way that you need to be supported. So whatever it is that you need, if I'm able to accommodate you, make your needs known to me, and whatever I can do, I will do. Other things that can be said is, I may not understand what you're going through. I've never experienced anything like that. And it seems like it's just so difficult to have to endure something like that. And I can only tell you, I think you're amazing. And I know you're going to get through this. And I know you're going to come out on the other end of this victorious. Okay. And so there are things that can go across the board to any personality. And it can bridge the gap and draw that connection closer to one another. And I think finally, just to wrap up here, just want to stop for a second. Do I have a couple of more minutes to speak a little bit about faith-based?
Yeah, just one more minute.
One more minute. Oh my goodness. Find God to a minute. You better do something good, dear God. We have 1 minute.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. Okay. So our emotions is basically our mind, soul, and emotions, right? But if you take that a step higher, you elevate your spirit. We're spiritual beings. All of us are just spirits. We have an earth bodysuit on, and we're having a spiritual experience on the earth here. And we have a God, Jesus, who is spirit. Okay, it's the Holy Spirit. And so that is pure love. It's pure love, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, the disconnect of that is the opposing force. It's an opposing force, negativity, all of that. So when we're able to get more into the spirit, oh boy, something's happening. Oh, no, this is, okay. Okay, so just, I have a physical condition going on right now. Something's going on physically, but anyway, I just want to say that, you know, let's just wrap up and just say that God loves you, and that, you know, you have him you can access him at any time, 24/7. And if you, that's another conversation, I guess, at another time. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for sharing such a profound message. Whatsoever physical condition that is happening right now, let
Oh
it
my
be
God.
healed.
Yeah.
Let it be healed in
Yep.
Jesus' name.
Going on. I don't want to talk about it, but I have a physical condition that needs to be addressed here. So that's all.
Okay, that's okay. That's
all.
okay. We understand. But honestly, you've shared a profound message. You've shared about faith and being a compassionate person the way you are, and how empathy plays a role in the community. And also you've identified and you've told us to identify and express our own emotions. What I like the most, you said what is important is the ability to relate to one another. And when I'm looking at the comments on Facebook right now, our audience is really, really moved by your message. I can see Tembegile, Mzebele, Adriana watching, Nkosina Mandla, Mariah. Mariah is saying that, Nkosina Mandla, he's saying that I am following your message. And Mariah is saying that so good to have you ladies speaking to us on emotional intelligence. And Stella is saying that I love that, the ability to relate to one another. And Andile Tabete is saying that being aware of our emotions, expressing them correctly, and understanding what they mean is an essential element of mental health. Thank you. And then she showed us some love. And Princess is saying that express your emotions. So I believe our audience really, they've been moved. They've been inspired with your message. So thank you so much, Jennifer, for sharing such a profound message.
Thank you.
So now we are going to Dr. Chakora Palmer. Dr. Chakora Palmer, she is the founder and the owner of the Total Power Financial Solutions. She has taken the stance to empower communities with opportunities. Her business services extend from credit repair unsecured loans from $10,000 to $400,000, and tax preparation to individuals and businesses. So under the unsecured loan platform, clients are told how to leverage real estate and passive income to create legacy. However, she hasn't stopped there. At a time when so many people in the US were trying to survive the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, including the loss of their jobs, of being forced to shut their businesses down, Dr. Palmer expanded into the speaking arena to empower communities through financial education and messages of hope. So power in Dr. Palmer's way stands for positioning our wealth for economic redevelopment. And with that as a forefront, lives can be forever changed. Her company is now expanded to lead people to the funds to achieve their dreams and change their lifestyles. So Dr. Palmer is an award-winning entrepreneur who is committed to invoking, equipping, and empowering the nation through her messages of hope. With more than 68 million people with a low credit score, Dr. Palmer had her own experience with having a credit problems in the past and was denied access to funds. But she got help and now is having tremendous success in her business. So Dr. Palmer believes that now more than ever, it is imperative to move forward, and that it has one more to identify a problem and ignore the issue as if it's just going to disappear. So with the right mindset, coaching, resources, Dr. Palmer believes things can turn around for anyone. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Dr. Chakora Palmer.
Thank you so much for this honor and the invite on today to speak to your audience. I really do appreciate you. It's a pleasure to be here. So I am Dr. Chakora Palmer, and today we're talking about emotional intelligence. What I want to hone in on is really emotional intelligence is about creating lasting relationships, whether it be professional or whether it be on the personal side. That helps us to become more self-aware. It also helps us to and motivates us to focus on the solutions that arise out of problems. And also, it increases the development of our social skills. So we're just going to take a few moments to break down what that looks like and some steps that are needed in order to take to boost that emotional intelligence. Relationships are very important. You know, myself, I used to identify, believe it or not, as an introvert. And you would think that an introvert would be one that does not hone in on relationships. Introverts pretty much like to be amongst themselves, right? Is not a crowd pleaser, doesn't like a lot of people around them. But then I realized that an introvert can be that, but making connections is where we would fail in furthering ourselves within our business and our personal relationships, right? It is important to build relationships because you can learn from other people. And introverts, such as myself, I had to be intentional in developing those relationships. It can be something as simple as going to the nearest coffee shop and striking up a small conversation with someone that is there in that coffee shop. Or if you're in a mall, I would have to say it's the funniest thing. I can be in a local grocery store or in a mall. And for some reason, people would approach me as I must have an approachable look as to ask me questions about what I may think about an outfit or where can I find this in this aisle. And at first I reacted in a way like, I don't look like I work here, do I? But then I had to realize there is something that is gravitating about my spirit, and I would, point them in those directions and be there to assist and strike up small conversations. And so in striking up these small conversations with people that you don't know, at first, of course, it can be uncomfortable because, approaching strangers and getting to know them in a way that you wouldn't have before is going to be uncomfortable. But I would say that it's necessary. You will be surprised in which the things that are identified just with speaking to someone else about how their day is going. They may get to speaking about their kids or their career. And there's something that you have in common with that person. But if you don't know, you won't know unless you open up your mouth to speak and strike up that conversation. I also think that it's important to strike up conversations in which you're not the smartest person in the room. Seek those that are, maybe more strengthened in areas than you are, creating a mastermind in which you can all share so that you can learn from one another. Here's an example. If you are in a business and there's a weakness within that business, maybe the business weakness is marketing. Definitely come up with a mastermind with someone that is proficient in the marketing arena that would strengthen you in that area as well. Everyone can contribute to the betterment of another. Again, you don't have to be the expert in everything or be the smartest person in the room. If you are, you're in the wrong room. Next, how does emotional intelligence boost your awareness to where you really are? Well, it does a lot of that. First of all, when you're feeling those uncomfortable feelings of speaking with someone else, or you're feeling uncomfortable about the things that may arise throughout your day, in your personal life and things of that nature, it identifies where you really are. And in order to hone in on those emotions, you can start to journal in order to identify, self-reflect, identify like, oh, I notice a pattern here. You'll start to see patterns. There are certain things that cause you to react in ways that you may not realize unless you write it down. So journaling is going to be very key in that process. When you are speaking with other people and you are learning to, within your masterminds and creating these relationships, you're also going to identify that you have more in common than you have different. There are ways that you can tap in and empathize with the other people may have been going through. And there are ways that you will begin to self-identify about the things that you may be facing and how you react to them. That will cause you to develop those social skills, because you've gotten yourself in check and you can really see where you are in the moments, and it would check you in order to see how to prevent, blow ups and flare ups and misunderstandings in communication with others. There may be, it just may be, okay? And this may not be for everyone, but sometimes for myself personally, there are ways that I start to connect with others, and I find it a blessing in helping others, even in the moments in which I am disconnected. For instance, if you're going through something in your own life, I have found it very beneficial and often called upon when I'm going through something that I have to be able to encourage something else, and then someone else, and then it helps me. It's the weirdest thing. Think about those of you that may go to church, okay? I know, or the mosque, or wherever you worship, okay? And think about those that are in leadership as pastors or the leaders of these organizations. Do you think that they get up and they speak and they encourage and they never go through anything on that given Saturday or Sunday or whatever day it is that you worship? Not at all. But they are strengthened by encouraging someone else. And that's the same role that we should also take, and I found myself taking, even in going through things in life. You'd be surprised who you can connect with and who, just by helping someone else, how it would make your emotional intelligence even better. Next, there are times where you have to declutter and you have to disconnect. And that's just real. We can't be strong all the time. I'll take that back. You can be strong. Strength is not, it does not mean that you're weak when you declutter and you disconnect. You disconnect and you declutter in order to maintain the strength within yourself. Think of yourself as a circuit board. And if you overpower a circuit, right, it is going to burn out. It is going to shut down. So if you are continually giving and never replenishing yourself, you're going to burn out. So it's okay to declutter. It's okay to disconnect and take a breather. Don't beat yourself up about that. And it helps you to stay in tune and to stay grounded in every aspect of your life, whether it be personal, whether it be business. It helps you to stay in tune and be strengthened in your journey. Finally, I want to say that it's important to listen. When you're in the masterminds and you're just making simple interaction and communication with others, it's important to listen so that you can, number one, find points in which you can identify with, that other person, and yourself reflecting and identifying with yourself. It's important to listen so that you can pick up pieces of the puzzle that may be able to help you on your journey as well. I am Dr. Shakura Palmer. Thank you so much for your time, and it is time to rise to greater heights. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, Dr. Palmer just dropped the mic. You know, you've mentioned the role of emotional intelligence in leadership, and you've just brought too many examples of individuals who are on leadership, pastors, you know, those who are our inspiration. And you've also mentioned that you gave us an idea on how to evaluate where we're standing as individuals and how to increase our emotional intelligence, really. I like the way you called it, that we should be strengthened by encouraging someone else. But in order for you to do that, you'll have to fill your cup first, right? And then you give out from your overflow. You give out from your overflow. That's how we're gonna heal this world that we live in. Thank you so much, Dr. Palmer, for sharing such a needed message. And I believe our audience online really have been really inspired as much as I was inspired by your message. So thank you, Dr. Palmer. So now we are going to New York. We are going to Dr. Seema Karetnaya. Ambassador Dr. Seema Karetnaya, she came to the United States from Ukraine 25 years ago. She originally had an educational background as a cardiopulmonary surgical nurse. She is a United States Ambassador of Health and Global Peace in the world's global peace chain. So Dr. Karetnaya is also a certified member of Medical Expert Committee at the World Health Organization, USA, representing public health expert at the International Society of Health Education. She is an international consultant at the International Organization of Local Government that is accredited with the United Nations, and president at the Public and Healthy Advisory of the Borough of Brooklyn. So in 2021, Ambassador Dr. Karetnaya was inducted into the World Book of Records, London, as an international COVID hero title holder, and received several honorary doctorate degrees, among which is an honorary doctorate from the United Nations International Diplomatic Organization. In February 2020, Ambassador Dr. Karetnaya received her postgraduate certificate in biomedical research data management from the Harvard University's Medical School. Currently, she actively organizes relief initiatives to support the people in Ukraine, as well as to assist incoming refugees to the United States. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Dr. Seema Karetnaya. Oh, I think she has some technical issues. You know what? We're gonna move forward. I believe she's gonna jump in. I believe she has some technical issues. I don't see her here. So yeah, she is experiencing some challenges. But you know what? We're still here, right? We're still here. So I'm gonna just jump in. I'm gonna jump in, and then she's gonna speak after I speak. So if you happen to watch us on YouTube, I can see Nomvuyo watching. Welcome to our audience, welcome. And I hope by now you have questions for our amazing speakers here. You have questions, so feel free to post your questions, and then we'll come back and attend to your questions. And remember, sharing means caring. Go out there, share this video, like, comment, you know, do whatsoever your spirit leads, because someone wants to hear this message. So I am gonna be the next speaker right now. I'm gonna be the next speaker. So what I will do before I speak, I am gonna share my bio, and then I will come back and speak. So enjoy.
Non-Pumelelo Rial Kunene is a highly sought-after, energetic, certified Les Brown International speaker. She is the author and host to Rise to Greater Heights, a book and YouTube channel to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. Rial is also a coach, mentor, and an MC, well known for encouraging many to rise from mediocrity into greatness. Her vision is not only to motivate, but also to empower audiences with a fresh perspective, inspiration they require to pursue success and drive sustainable outcomes in a seriously funny way. Rial believes that we are in full control of our choices. Her mission is to meet the needs and transform lives of her clients and her audience. Rial's book, Rise to Greater Heights, has inspired and empowered many to pursue their personal and professional passion to become go-getters. Her goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs, then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. Rial Kunene wears many hats as a professional certified sales manager, CEO, strategist, certified travel counselor, trainer, esthetician, philanthropist, diplomacy protocol officer, international human rights analyst, and a commissioner for OAS. Following her dreams gave her purpose to see her goals through and understand that she does have everything she needs to reach her full potential. Her everyday message is that your journey to be a better person starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core will make you understand that you are the only one who can accomplish your dreams. Hebrews 11, Psalm 27 and 40. Keep her to rise to greater heights. Kings and queens, please join me. Welcome, Rial Kunene!
All right. Okay. You know, our amazing speakers today, they've just set the bar high for me. So I'm like, am I going to be able to fit in those big shoes? But you know what? I'm going to try. But thank you so much to our amazing speakers who shared some nuggets on really how to increase your emotional intelligence. But always, I always double check if I'm in the right platform here. Before I continue, I just want to double check if I'm in the right platform here. How many of you with the raise of hand can say that, Rial, I have never, ever complained in life, never, ever complained in life. I can see that I am in the right platform because you know what, sometimes in life we go complaining about everything. Oh, the weather is really bad today. Traffic was worse than expected. My family drives me crazy sometimes. Oh, the movie was really, really disappointing. You name it. Though whining can be a way to build an inspiration, it can also keep us from acting. And it gives excuses time to procrastinate from achieving goals. One thing I've realized is that we usually complain in the wake of a negative situation, and we tend to focus more on the problem than finding potential solutions. It's always much easier to complain than to find a solution. And individuals who are on a regular basis, they are apt to have a bad health. So next time you'll find you complaining that, why do pizzas come in square boxes, yet they're round? And funny enough, they're cut in triangles. Does that sound like you? Yeah, please write this down. Increase your emotional intelligence. Increase your emotional intelligence. You know, if you aspire to be in any leadership role, there is an emotional element you need to consider. Emotional intelligence has to do with one's ability to both recognize and control your own emotions. Like Jennifer mentioned, that what is important is the ability to relate to one another. So those possessing a high level of emotional intelligence have a connection with their own emotions, as well as the ability to recognize, relate to, as well as influence the emotions of others. And people who excel in their emotional intelligence can be easy to recognize, since they know what they are feeling and how these emotions can affect other people around them, really. Good people, you really don't have to see the whole staircase in life, but you have to take the first step to get to the top. As my mentor always say, that you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to become great. So get started today and increase your emotional intelligence, because the most effective leaders are alike in all one crucial way. They are aware of their own strengths and weaknesses and strive for a continuous improvement in their life. And Dr. Palmer, she mentioned that be strengthened by encouraging someone else. Because most people make mistakes around emotional intelligence. Why? I'm glad you've asked that, because they don't acknowledge their own flaws. They don't even learn from their own mistakes. Perhaps they are unable to delegate or at least understand what's going on with other people around them. They don't do that. So good people, this is a wake-up call. This is a wake-up call to increase your emotional intelligence. But when that alarm clock goes off, please, please, please don't ever hit the snooze button. Don't be like, I will wake up in the next 2 minutes. I will wake up in the next 4 minutes. You know what? Forever is a long time. Why don't you wake up, get going, and increase your emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is an important characteristic for anyone in any level or in an organization. And it is widely known to be a key component for effective leadership. As an entrepreneur, really, I've experienced many emotions and become very aware of the sensitivity towards each other's emotions. Like my everyday book says that a fool vents all his feelings, but a wise man holds them back. A fool vents all his feelings, but a wise man always holds them back. So for leaders, having an emotional intelligence is essential to understand other people, what motivates them, and how to work cooperatively with them. So you'll have to increase your emotional intelligence with people. You know, being self-aware when you are in a leadership role, it means that you understand how you feel and what your strengths and limits are. At the same time, behaving with humility. You know, as flight attendants always say that, put on your oxygen mask first before you assist others, because if you don't, you and the other person you're trying to help could possibly go down. So I believe that you'll have to put on that oxygen mask first on you before assisting anyone else. You know, in relationship management, empathy is what allows you to put yourself in other people's shoes, and being able to recognize the feelings and viewpoints of others without any judgment. Emotional intelligence is a trait that can be developed to determine business success. So increase your emotional intelligence, good people. All these amazing speakers have shared many nuggets on how to increase your emotional intelligence. Fortunately, emotional intelligence can be improved. It can be improved to build a collaborative performance culture in the workplace. And it's so funny how my mom and dad gave me this beautiful name, Nompumelelo. Nompumelelo, I know many, they always butcher my name when they try to say it. I remember Jennifer yesterday when I was talking to her, she was like, I don't even know how to say your name. Can I call you Mama Riel or something? Yeah, many people, they really butcher my name when they say it. And I'm okay with that, because yeah, my mom and dad, they gave me such a beautiful name. And the meaning of my name, it means mother of all success. So you can really see that I am really challenged to chase after success. No matter what comes my way, I'll have to chase after success. If I may ask you, how many of you have dreams and goals maybe that you want to achieve in the next 6 months? I know myself, I am one of them. Like you can just put a 5, you can put you can give me a sign. Give me a sign on the social media platforms. If you have any goals that you want to achieve maybe in the next 6 months, I want you, as you think about your dreams and goals, to put this down. Rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights, because you know you need to be clear about your career goals in order for you to gain guidance. I can see you, Andile, in order for you to gain guidance on professional development. You know, as a coach or as a mentor, I know most of us here were coaches, who are mentors. My goal is so simple. My goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs and other potential obstacles that you might be facing, and then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. I so wish that you can just tell yourself that, you know what, all these amazing speakers have shared some nuggets I just wanted to hear in order for me to increase my emotional intelligence. I had enough. So now I'll have to go out there and be the change. Like Jennifer, she said, be the change. We need a change in this world. So be the change, make a difference. But the change that you want to see in this world must first begin with you. In order for you to make that difference, you've got to be hungry. You've got to be hungry like the hungry lion in the jungle. You know that hungry lion in the jungle, really, it doesn't matter what kind of animal comes his way. It doesn't matter if you're that giant elephant or that small squirrel by the jungle. All that hungry lion sees in front of his face is lunch. And it's so funny because even with elephants, when they see a lion, what they do is that they run. It's all about the mindset. Once you believe, you become. They already told themselves that, you know what, I am a lunch to that lion. So each and every time when I see a lion, I'll have to run. So I believe that's the mindset that we need in order for us to increase our emotional intelligence. We need that lion mindset to be the change, to make a difference in this world. We need that mindset. You know, it's so funny when I was in the 8th grade. When I was in the 8th grade, I was nicknamed Phoenix. I'm going to cut the story short. I was nicknamed Phoenix after writing a composition using the idiomatic expression that says, I rose from the ashes like a phoenix bird, meaning I became successful again. Really, that English teacher, she didn't know that the nickname Phoenix, it resonates with me. And it also aligns with my destiny. So for those of you who don't know the phoenix bird, the phoenix is a Greek mythological bird believed to rise from its own ashes after being buried like hundreds of years ago. This immortal creature, it acquires new life by rising from the ashes of its own ancestor, which represents our capacity for vision and success. I want to encourage you, if you're listening, if you're watching under my voice today, that when your world comes crashing down, wear your stars to show how a phoenix feels like to die from inside, and trust in your own capability to rise from your own ashes, because the phoenix has to die first, burn, experience pain before resurrection from its own ashes. Please write this down in conclusion. Resilience to greatness. Resilience to greatness. If I can be honest with you, I don't know what dreams you have for your future. I don't know what goals you've set for the next 6 months, but here's one thing I know about you. You are destined for greatness. Inside of you, God has put seeds of excellence. Those seeds are supposed to grow and flourish. But many people have become crippled by their past encounters, and some have stepped over other people to get to the top. But I believe that God has a better plan for every one of us. Your objective is what you were designed for and the reason why you live today. With God, I believe that we're all destined for greatness as long as we follow his strategy. This is when the growth commences, because discovering your gifts and following God's idea will make you understand that you are the only one who can make your dreams come true today. My everyday inspiration, Mr. Les Brown, he once said, if you had to die today, at this moment, at this hour, what dreams, what ideas, what visions, what goals, what skills, what talents, and what books will die with you? And the late Dr. Miles Monroe continued saying that the richest place on this planet is the cemetery, because that's where all the goals, all the dreams, all the visions, all the talents, all the skills have been buried. Honestly, I don't know about you, but with me, really listening to these messages, it just gave me sleepless nights. And I am really, really proud today to introduce Rise to Greater Heights book before you. This book is a comprehensive guide to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. And you know what? I didn't stop there. If you remember very well, May 25th, 2020, George Floyd died in police custody in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So with the whole George Floyd situation, I believe that we need to stand for a world where no one shall live in fear because of the color of their skin, and where the criminal justice system treats everyone fairly and equally, because I believe that everyone is born free and everyone has the right to life. So I decided to write the book, Human Rights, which are God-given fundamental rights and freedoms. And we were born with 30 Universal Declaration of Human Rights that can never, ever be taken away from us. It's not like the government is granting you all these rights. You were born with all these amazing 30 Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So I decided to write that book, and I didn't stop there. I know, I didn't stop there. I came together with, here we had like 15 different authors being trained, coached by Les Brown, Resilience to Greatness, and I didn't also stop there. We came together with 17 different authors around the world, New Zealand, Australia, United Kingdom, South America, North America, Africa. We came together with only one mindset, cultivate your mindset for success. So I believe all these books has the potential to completely revolutionize every aspect of your life and career. And you can get all this book for a family member or a loved one who just need that inspiration to face the world with a positive mindset. And I also have a free transformation guide for you. It's free. I know it's complimentary transformation guide that will turn your fears into greater success. You'll be able to explore leadership, empowerment, resilience to greatness, mentorship, coaching, emotional intelligence, mental health, and many, many more topics, including spiritual growth, as well as successful parenting. Because you know what? Growing up, I didn't have much in life because my father decided to have an early departure from this planet Earth. And thank God I missed that flight. But I had everything because of my mama's love. And I love you so much, Mom. So I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Nompumelelo Riel Bunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Thank you. Thank you so, so much. Thank you so much, our amazing, amazing speakers. So at this moment, please feel free to share your final thoughts on the topic, increase your emotional intelligence, and also share how our audience can reach out to you. I can see we have many, many audience out there who wants to be in touch with you. So share how they can reach out to you. And if you have any freebie, any complimentary that you just want to share with our audience today, so you can just share all that information, how they can reach out to you, any freebie that you want to share. The stage is all yours, our amazing speakers.
Okay, I guess I'll start first here and say thank you very much for this opportunity today. I'm very grateful to be able to share this platform with you and on such a very important topic, such as emotional intelligence. And you know what I like about what you said, it is very inspirational. And I think that everybody can use a good dose of inspiration and encouragement, and that people should know their value in life, that they're equipped with such great value and worth and talent and gifts that were instilled into their being from birth. You are as unique as your fingerprints, and you have so much to offer this world in goodness. And so when we show up and we come in with the mindset to do good things and to be the best that we can be, it takes sometimes improvement. Sometimes, it takes a process, and transformation from within is a process. So we may not be able to hit, the top of the mountain right away. We may have to start at the bottom and take a few steps, but those few steps come from the way we think, the way our words that we choose to use, and also being able to process the other part, the deeper parts that are in turmoil. So we don't want to neglect that we're feeling a certain particular way. We want to be able to understand what is going on, why we're feeling so despair or any of the negative emotions. But we also need to understand that is a process. We process through these things. We are allowed to feel our feelings, but we do not get caught and stuck in that mode of feeling depressed and down and unworthy and unlovable and all of the things that are negative. And if we remain there, well, then we'll never reach our fullest potential. And, God had made you who you are, and you are an extremely special individual. You have so much value inside of you. And so my message to you is, don't ignore the things that have hurt you in life and try to sugarcoat it with a positive attitude. Having a positive attitude is being able to recognize the deeper things from within, and then being able to process it and walk through it, transform through it. And that's how you achieve greatness. That's how you achieve who you are destined to be, whatever that looks like, whatever success looks like for you. Success doesn't mean having a multi-billion-dollar company and making it. I mean, if you get there, that's great, that you can do a lot of good things for a lot of people in need if you get there. But success can be just having a goal for something that you're experiencing that you need to overcome. And whatever it is, you take steps to do that for your emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical well-being. So we have a responsibility to ourselves to transform from within, from the emotional part. And then we have also a responsibility to project out into our existence and the people surrounding us, goodness, compassion, inspiration, empathy, and things that bring each other up. Bring each other up. Encourage one another. Inspire, listen without judgment, have compassion. And this is the recipe for success. I'll wrap up with that.
Wow, recipe for success. Wow, thank you so much, Jennifer. Wow, wow. I'm gonna go back and watch the replay. Trust me, trust me. I've been moved. I've been moved today. I've been really moved. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. It has been a fabulous, fabulous conversation on here today as we spoke about emotional intelligence. I just want to remind you that boosting that emotional intelligence is going to take you to be intentional in building new relationships and maybe getting a little uncomfortable in doing so, but it's actually going to help you in your growth as you rise to greater heights. So how you can contact me is on across all social media, Charquara Palmer or Total Power Financial. So that is going to be Instagram, Facebook, as well as Twitter. The website is charquarapalmer.com. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope that something was shared with you today that can improve your emotional intelligence, at least to focus on that and to cause you to take some actions and improvements in your life. Thank you so much.
Oh, wow, Dr. Palmer, Jennifer, really, oh my God, I'm just running out of words. Both of your messages were profound, and I believe like our audience really, they've gained a lot as much as I did from today's podcast. So thank you so much for sparing that 90 minutes of your time just to be with us here. I know we are all busy. I know you are both business women, so you could have decided to be doing your work right now, but you just decided to be with us, to bless us with your inspirational messages, and I appreciate you.
Can I
really.
on?
Yes, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
Let me just want to say that, to the audience today that I do have a book that really takes you on an inner journey. And it's such a delightful read. It goes into different characters of anger, frustration, depression, and how they enter into the secret chamber of your heart and how they reside there. And it's such a visual, creative way of talking about forgiveness and releasing some of these victimizations. So I just wanted to show you that this is the secret chamber of forgiveness. And you can purchase that on Amazon. And also, I'm hoping that you'll put this in the links, but I have a 20-page free mental health life report. This report, I use it myself, and it is loaded with so many different options for anybody who is on a mental health journey and wants to be able to explore various different ways to improve their well-being and their health emotionally, mentally, physically, and in every way, really spiritually as well. So it's a 20-page free download. I hope that you'll put that in a link there for the audience. And I would love for you guys to download that, print it out, keep a little journal, and get your movement going, forward movement. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you for sharing that. And I believe our audience will go out there and grab and grab your book as well as the document that you've prepared for all of us for $0 or free. Yeah, so they're gonna go out there and grab it, and as well as that, Dr. Palmer, they're gonna reach out to you, visit your website, because you really have a lot to offer over there. So I believe our audience will be in touch with you. They're gonna reach out to you. So thank you so much, our amazing speakers. And to our audience online, thank you so much. I hope you've shared this video by now. I hope you went on our YouTube channel, because you know what, this video will only be available here for 24 hours. But if you go on our Rise to Greater Heights network on YouTube, you're gonna have that video every day. How cool is that? So go out there, subscribe to our channel, and remember to turn on the notification button so that you get all of the notifications when we go live like this. So thank you so much to our speakers and to our amazing audience. I hope from all of these messages from all our amazing speakers, you've been really inspired, motivated, and you are so ready to rise to greater heights. So do join us next week at the same time, same place. Thank you. Merci. Siyabonga.
Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. Only one I say. Let him lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. Only one I say. Let him lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let I be me instead of playing games. For chasing fame, let somebody sweat the lack of flames. No, living my life to the fullest and shout out my halala to the fullest. Let my lungs out. I'm still rising up to greater heights as long as